Hey, people of YouTubes and interwebs. Yes. Oh, gotta watch out. I'm in the heart of this forest. See, and there's a little gusty, if you will, is the best way to describe it. And I was almost flabbergasted by a branch that dropped very close to me. I almost hit my head. Um, not making any lie up. It almost hit me. But anyways, I want to get on to the topic of, using various herbs, especially the wild ones. I've been researching ones like the firs. Oh, excuse me. Douglas fir, which is in the pine family. There's like at least probably 20 types of pine, including spruces. Spruces, well, it's in the conifer family, which is the pine, right? With the pointed needles, as they're described as. And I just want to show how I pick them. I won't show the entire process, so you can figure it out yourself. It's kind of the fun, right? It's not fun if things aren't a little challenging. So see, there's 3 parts to the main stem that juts out, right? Just like the fleur-de-lis, right? As nature grows, and often in 3s. So you want to pull this back, and it'll peel. Usually peels after. See? It peels easily off that joint. So that's the proper way to harvest these types of greens, right? And same goes for salmonberry or any kind of like bush plant that you want to pick. Like these ones, they still have some green right here in the stem, so those are usually kind of sweet, mostly just salty, if you will. That's a good way to describe it. Salty, has some magnesium and lighter elements that you need for your good nervous system, good energy, right? So I recommend using salmonberry, and yeah, stick with things your own size, right? You don't want to go to any plant, if it's a tree, etc., that's too big, because its strength isn't something that's very well compatible to yours. Though you can use small amounts. So like the tips, see of that cedar right there, the light tips, you can use like those green parts, as that's what's being given, by the plant, right? It doesn't want you to take its core, like the main branches and all the main parts where you could say people harvest sap, from maple trees to make syrup, but that's hurting the trees. They have feelings too. Oh, just a lot different, right? And yeah, so I just want to show you this. This looks epic right here. All these leaves that got caught in the branches and whatnot. But yeah, so even maple, like I just featured, this one obviously isn't very usable. But when they're green, you can pick them and make them into teas. I think is the main use, medicinal use for the maple. And then it's also been used as poultices and like topical, ointments and kind of skin cures, if you will. I gotta be careful here too because it's very windy, so I'm gonna stay by this trunk. It's a pretty safe spot. See, if there's any kind of main branch falling, then I'll just duck and cover, just like you do for the earthquake drills, right? You gotta watch for anything falling, right? As things are blown and shaken, that kind of thing. But yeah, what else is good here? So I want to feature. So these Douglas fir, these look pretty clean, to be honest. They're kind of. So you want to check the cleanliness. how pure they look, and as long as like they're mostly, you know, bright green and not covered with dirt or black soot or something stuck on there, maybe sprayed on there like pesticides or something, then yeah, you just wanna solely enjoy the pan. Another herb that you can use right here, you can see these ferns. So the ferns, you don't want to pick the large blades of them. You just want to pick the very end piece just of the ferns, and not very much, just to round it out, because they're very bitter. I don't recommend eating ferns as a herb. It's more of a survival food. And the fiddleheads are nice in springtime, so but that's a different time of year, right? And then we got these ivies. So ivies, believe it or not, ivies, like poison ivy, of course, I do not recommend using because of its intense white stripe in the middle. That's very, you could say, toxic if you're not used to being around it at all. But the other ivies, these ones, they're kind of dark green, but the flavor, honestly, is very enjoyable. It's like almost like not a mint. It's more like hard to describe. It has its own flavor. It's more a little spicy. It's got a little like spice to it, and yeah, it's a very tough herb. I do recommend trying some of that in a small amount. I don't recommend using any more than one leaf of that because of how strong it is. But I do recommend using it because it's got a lot of good oils in it, and of course vitamins, right? The vitamins that you get from, picking like these kind of wild edibles is a lot more vital than what you can buy in the supermarket. That may have been there, it may have been there for 1 or 2 days, and especially the stuff that's in the plastic containers, so that those lose their vital energy within, like a lot of the main, I think they're called enzymes, lose a lot, like say vitamin C, lose their potential after at least, I think, 3 to 4 hours. Then half of its energy is pretty much gone, which is okay. You can still enjoy like salads and bulk foods that you need to fill yourself with a good meal as like a main meal of the day. But I highly recommend trying these herbs to kind of boost your energy during the day, or if you do like a run near a forest, you can always find things like this, and it'll definitely give you that libido. No, I'm just kidding. Some of these herbs do give you increased libido, so beware. You might be feeling a little jolly, if you try some dandelion and feel a little randy, These hollies, okay, so these ones, this one caught my eye because of its light color. So I think hollies, when they're first growing, they're very flimsy, as you can see, flimsy, whereas like the older ones have the spikes in them. So you don't want to pick the ones with spikes. You just want to pluck the new shoots, and then you could probably use a little of this, like very small amounts, and then I'm sure it tastes something akin to the ivies. So that's holly. Just like to be holy, you gotta eat the best of the greens, right? To be holy and feel alive, right? Fully alive. So what are a couple others I can show? So I've recently been reading. I'm only gonna make this 1 or 2 more minutes. So yeah, I've recently been reading a book about all the edible wild foods that you can pick in the Rocky, in the Rockies and the mainland, and a lot of things like juniper that come from spruce have a lot of good medicinal value with the kind of energy that it gives, right? And spruce itself can also be used medicinally, mostly just in teas, and then I think the oil from the spruce is used topically for the skin and that kind of thing. And I think a couple of varieties of pine are used, like you smoke it. I think it's white pine or Douglas fir, and people would smoke it and to clear the lungs, and has a good energy for burning, just like sage. Burning some sage, as long as it's clean, can give you some good plasmic energy. Although once again, I want to say they're not cure-alls. There's no 100% guarantees that this is going to specifically, raise you up to like a godlike level or something along those lines, right? But what using herbs does is it gives you more energy, so then you can, have a better step in your day, right? Have a better. I gotta fix my hair. There we go. I like that wispy style. Yeah, enjoy your day more. Have more energy. Have more endurance for if you're doing something athletic. And there are a couple other things here. So there's all the ferns. Yeah, it's kind of hard to find a huge amount of variety in the forest, but if you look around, you'll find, things that can really benefit you. Like I was saying earlier, I was reading mostly about pines. There's the alders. So the spruce are the toughest. Because they're not yielding. When you try to pluck a couple of their needles, you get poked by another one. You know what I'm saying? They're very resilient, but they themselves are very good for their oil content and also vitamins. But I'm gonna leave this off with also check out white pine. Look into white pine. They have very wispy pine needles, but they're very sweet and they're very good for teas. So definitely that's the one I recommend most likely to start with. It is amazing. It's good for your eyes because it's got a lot of beta carotenes, vitamin A, and it's got vitamin C as well, that you mostly get from decocting teas and stuff like that. And then you can mix honey or any kind of flavoring, sweetener, etc., to make it more palatable. And yeah, so these herbs, I'm looking to hear back from you and see what ones do you best, what ones make you strongest, because I feel I've really been helped by using herbs, whether it's been berries, originally it was a berry mix, in the powdered form that helped, kind of like some of my skin, or I had like a sore back for a while, but it's all better now. And I feel I honestly, from since high school, I wasn't really paying attention to my health or anything. I would just eat Doritos, etc. Which I'm not trying to put down Doritos, Once in a while, binge a little, If it's the holiday season, share with friends, etc. There's a time and place for everything, right? But once again, you want to focus on improving your health every day, and herbs is the way to go. Using dandelions, using the ones on the ground. You can use the seeds. The seeds are the best part. They come up. You're supposed to use the seeds because they have the most vital energy of the plant, because that's the part that reseeds and regrows a new plant, right? So remember that. Look for the seeds. Just like the nuts in the trees are very valued and whatnot, especially pine nuts, because they only come like, I think, once a year. They're dropped with the pine cones, right? So, and only certain pine cones are the ones that are, prized and used, culinary wise, right, in food. So try a variety of greens and see how it benefits your energy, your flexibility, musculature, etc. And I want to hear back. Yeah. So more on this topic probably soon enough. Yeah, as I learn more and find another place that has more to feature, because right here it's honestly mostly just cedar, pine, and then the variety of that I mentioned. So anyway, have a good day. Signing out. Like and subscribe, or I'll poke you.